Good evening. Good evening, all MahaIP members. Good evening. First of all, I welcome Dr. Neelam Mohan ma'am, who is recently got elected with uh, from as a president-elect 2025 in Central IP elections. And also, I welcome chairperson-elect of this year and chairperson of next year, AHA, Dr. Hima Bindu ma'am from Hyderabad. I welcome current chairperson of AHA, Dr. Geeta Patil madam, who is also one of the panelists. I welcome all the panelists, moderator Dr. Narmada Ashok ma'am, panelist Dr. Balachandar D sir. Uh, this today happens to be his birthday, so wishing Dr.
Oh, happy
Balachandar sir.
birthday to you, Bala.
Yes. So
Thank you, ma'am.
wish you many happy returns of the day from entire Maharashtra IIP members as well as those present in this webinar. I welcome Dr. Satish Agrawal sir, Dr. Trupti Matne. I also welcome Dr. Ram Gopal Chezara sir, he's in his absence here, and Dr. Sanjay Bakmude sir, who is President-elect of Maharashtra IIP. I also welcome all the office bearers of various district Maharashtra IIP branches and all delegates, PG students, and all the attendees. So today's topic is healthy adolescents and healthy environment and healthy adolescent. So as you all know, adolescence is a critical period of formative growth that affects well-being across the life course. The transition to healthy adulthood is dependent on being safe and having a supportive environment to live, learn, and earn. In such an environment, adolescents are physically and psychologically safe and protected from all forms of violence, abuse, exploitation, and injury. Their material needs are met. They are treated fairly and have equal rights. They are free to practice their beliefs and express their identities. They have privacy and the resources and opportunities to thrive. So with this note, we can start our webinar today. So before that, I welcome again Dr. Neelam Mohan ma'am, and I request her to have few words with us on this occasion. Neelam ma'am, please.
Yeah, at the onset, I would like to sincerely appreciate and thank Amol for the wonderful work that he's been doing in getting all of us to like in two extremes. The way we are focusing on neonates, it's time that we need to focus on adolescents. If it is not for the mortality that we talk in them, but they carry the highest morbidity in this pediatric age. And we've been always running behind mortality, but we've come to a stage where it's time for us to focus not only into issues with mortality, but issues with morbidity, and who but adolescent is the right age. So I would appreciate Dr. Geeta
I think Dr. Neelam ji, आपका disturbance is a lot. I think when
you can switch off video, your ma'am.
Neelam ji, please switch off video and talk.
We'll wait.
Or by good work as a chairperson. Is it audible?
Yes, ma'am. Please,
Yes.
please
Now
go
it is
ahead.
better.
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
Sorry, I just wanted to sincerely appreciate Amol for the good work that he's doing. And I was just conveying that though we've been always chasing mortality as pediatricians, it is time where we need to move from mortality to morbidity. And in the entire pediatrics, the highest morbidity is in the adolescent group. And a phenomenal work is being done by Geeta and the incoming Hima Bindu, Satish Agarwal, who have been, and Bala and Narmada, everybody have been diligently working in this field. And I promise to continue to work in this field and surprise you with good things along with Vasanji. Thank you so much for giving this opportunity to me and remembering me that this is something very close to my heart.
Thank you, Neelam ma'am, and all the best for your tenure as a president-elect next year. So moving on, I will request our chairperson-elect, Dr. Hima Bindu Singh ma'am, to have some few words with us at this place.
Yeah, very good evening to all the esteemed stalwarts of Maharashtra IAP and all the seniors and colleagues and dear Amol for organizing this program. Maharashtra IAP and AHA are doing wonderful programs throughout the year, and they are in the forefront in taking adolescent health to another level. I really appreciate that so many programs are being organized, and that too with NMC creditors. So well organized, they are very academic programs. I think this topic of today is also very important in view of the new emerging problems we are seeing in adolescents. So there's a lot of interdependence between adolescent health and the climate changes. And we can see Dr. Narmada, Dr. Geeta, and many others driving this program ahead. And I'm also looking forward for a great year in 2025 with all of you. I request support from all the state branches and the IAP branches to take huge program as a mission mode next year, focusing on sexuality, sexual wellness, metabolic wellness, and digital wellness and mental health. So this would be on the forefront of the AHA next year, 2025. And I look forward for a close collaboration with all the state branches and state IAP branches in the next year. And great going. So all the best and Happy New Year to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Hima Bindu ma'am, for your encouraging words for Maha AP and as well as Central AHA. Dr. Ram Gopal sir is busy in some work. He's current Maharashtra IP president. Now I request Dr. Sanjay Pakmude sir, who is president-elect of Maharashtra IP, to say a few words.
Good evening, everybody, and all the stalwarts of AHA. Good evening, Dr. Neelam Mohan, President-elect 2026. Then Geeta Madam, Chairperson CIP AHA chapter. The incoming Chairperson, Dr. Hema Bindu Singh Madam, and Dr. Balchandar sir, wishing you a very happy birthday. Sir, Dr. Satish Agrawal, and moderator, Madam Dr. Narmada Ashok, and Dr. Tripti Mahatme, and our dynamic secretary of MAHAP, Dr. Amol Pawar, and all the branches president secretaries and all the MAHA-APians who have joined today's webinar. I wish you a very happy new year. And this teenagers are thought as the powerhouses of the nation. And this is a transitional period from the childhood to the adult. So it has a lot of opportunities as well as vulnerabilities. So it's a very important period in the life of everybody, where our role as a pediatrician becomes immense, because as a parent, there is one more factor which will be which will be dealing with this period. But we people are a learned people. We had some knowledge, in-depth knowledge. We know what is happening in the society so that we can better deal with this. So we have a lot many stalwarts for this. So with this, I said, it's wonderful today's program, that is a path. It's wonderful what we are today. From MAHA-AP, we are broadcasting this path. So everybody will be benefited from all the today's panelists and the special comment by the moderator. Thank you.
Yes.
Over to Amol.
Thank you, Sanjay sir, for your guiding words. Dear all, this series of webinars we have started since last 2 years under the presidency of Dr. Ramakant Patil sir, last year Maharashtra IP president, and it was supported by Dr. Atul Kanikar sir, who is a stalwart in adolescent chapter, and is very knowledgeable person. He conducts many courses and he teaches many AHS, many adolescent pediatricians also. So I think he is not there today. He might be busy. So we'll move on with today's webinar, and this the topic of webinar: healthy environment, healthy adolescent. So moderator for today's the talk is Dr. Narmada Ashok ma'am. And panelists are Dr. Geeta Patil Madam, Dr. Satish Agrawal Sir, Dr. Balachandar Sir, and Dr. Tripti Mahatme. So to tell you in short about them, Dr. Narmada Ashok Ma'am, very good friend of all of us. She's faculty. She has completed, she is faculty at CMC Vellore. She has completed diploma in allergy health. Then her achievements till now are, she was chairperson of infectious disease chapter of Tamil Nadu State 2024 and 25. She is national coordinator for PEDA quiz in 2024. Then she is core committee member of IAP standard treatment guidelines in 2022. She is national coordinator of IAP Women's Wing. She is contributor in comprehensive textbook of allergy, striking the balance. Then she is editor in case-based reviews in pediatric allergy. The honor she received, she has received already the fellow of IAP award, then fellow of Royal College of Pediatrics and Child Health. Then she got National President Appreciation Award of IMA in 2020. Then Best Doctor Award of Tamil Nadu State from IMA in 2019. Active Pediatrician Award from IAP 2013. And she has got various publications in journals, and she is speaker at national and international faculty, national and state conferences also. And she just runs throughout the year, attending many conferences. She is one of the most sought faculty across all the state conferences and national conferences and various chapter conferences also.
Thank you.
So
Thank you for the kind words.
the next, I will introduce Dr. Geeta Patil Madam. She is currently chairperson of AHA. She is senior consultant, pediatrician, adolescent health specialist, counselor at Chaitanya Hospital in RT Nagar, Bangalore. She is visiting consultant at Manipal Hospital, Hebbal, Bangalore. Then she was IAP Bangalore president in 2017. Awarded Best Branch Award during her tenure. Then she was joint organizing secretary of National Pedicon in Bangalore in 2017. She was chief organizing chairperson at National AdultsCon in Bangalore in 2019. She has conducted various conferences. She was executive board member in 2020 and 2022. Then she is currently chairperson AHA. She also has received FIP award from IAP in 2021. Then also she was awarded with Dr. S. Baduri and Dr. D.S. Das oration in IAP Jamshedpur annual 20th conference. Then she has various publications. She has contributed to various chapters. She is also active in environmental chapter, and she is a trainer at various presidential action plan modules. She is also currently the national scientific coordinator for the innovative activity of this year under the presidency of Dr. G. Basavaraja sir, that is IAP Ki Baat community ke saath, and which will be continued next year also by Dr. Vasant Khalatkar sir. She has special interest in adolescent medicine and infectious diseases and nutrition. Next panelist is Dr. Satish Agrawal sir, very good friend and mentor to me in Maharashtra. Sir has done MBBS, MD, DCH, DNB. He is practicing pediatrician at Amravati. He was president of IAP Amravati branch in 2012. He was executive board member of Maharashtra State IAP in 2013 and 2016. He was organizing secretary of Maharashtra Pediatric Conference in 2005. He was organizing chairperson of Mahapedicon 2019, which was the most successful conference of periphery district till now in the history of Maharashtra IAP. Currently, he is also vice chairman of environmental and medical legal chapters of IAP. He is founder president of this medical legal chapter of Maharashtra state. He has conducted the main notifiable thing which he is doing is he is conducting various TV talk shows, and till now he has conducted 226 talk shows on various health issues, and many panelists across means all states of IAP. He is inviting many faculties, means almost all past presidents of IAP, vice presidents, and many faculties from other states also have came to his talk shows till now. He has contributed to medical, legal, and respiratory textbooks. He has received prestigious Mudliar Award for academics by IMA Amravati branch. He has also received Excellence Award for Social Awareness by Central IP in 2018. And he was also felicitated by Maharashtra State IIP branch for social awareness in 2021 and also received Lifetime Achievement Award. So welcome, Dr. Satish Agrawal, sir.
Thank you, dear Amol, sir.
Yes, thank you. Then our third panelist is Dr. Bala Chandar, sir. He is senior consultant at General Hospital in Pathanamthitta. Then he is president of IIP Kottayam branch in 2024. He is executive board member currently, and also past year he was executive board member of Central IIP. He is member of National Advisory Editorial Board IJP from 2023 to 2026. He is office bearer of IIP Kerala branch from 2015 to 2020. Then he was secretary of this ECSG chapter of Central IIP in 2021 and 2022. He is also state academic coordinator of BNRP Kerala in the year 2022 to 2024. And areas of interest of him are environment and child health, vaccinology, and infectious disease. And our last panelist, she is Dr. Tripti Mahatme. She is young, budding academician and very active IIP, very active in Maharashtra State IIP as well as Nashik IIP. She is also adolescent pediatrician, and she is faculty at some medical college also. So I welcome all of you, and I just hand over to Dr. Narmada Ashok ma'am to take us further in this webinar. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for the kind words, and I'm really thankful to Maharashtra Pediatric IAP for having invited all of us for this excellent webinar, and also we are having a very excellent panelist who have a deep knowledge on the subject we are going to introduce. So here we are going to see another approach. Can you see my slides, sir?
Yes, make it a full screen, ma'am.
Yeah.
Those who want to ask any question, please ask in last 15 to 20 minutes. At around 9:50, the chat will be open for all. Now we are disabling the chat, so kindly ask your questions from 9:45 onwards. Thank you.
So we are going to approach the problems in adolescence in a newer concept, and also to insist that why for a healthy adolescence, we need a very healthy environment. I'm very happy to have Dr. Geeta Patil ma'am, who has got an interest both in adolescence as well as environment, Dr. Palachandar sir, Dr. Satish Agrawal, and Dr. Tripti Mahatme, who had also worked, who have a deep interest in adolescence. Together, I think they will unravel all the interesting cases where we see environment has got a big role to play. And if you're looking at it, the current impact and the future risk of environmental degradation caused by human activities have transformed the Earth's environment. We ourselves as a children have seen a very different environment, and now we see so much of variation, so much changes in the climatic conditions, and in floods in areas where we have not even thought it was possible. This has been a very crucial impact on the Earth's geosphere, biosphere, and also on the human and planetary health. We are the perpetrators of the problem, and we are also the suffering, and our future generation is suffering the most. As it was asked, how dare you, by the adolescents. So we are standing at a virtual point to answer the questions to them. So our children are the most vulnerable group here. When you look at environmental health, what we are requiring here, health is a state of physical, mental, and spiritual well-being. And when you're looking at environmental health, we are looking at a cleaner air quality, water, reduce hazardous waste, increased access to healthy foods, safer outdoor environment for adult and children, improved population health, and improved health equity. And we, as a pediatricians, we really know that none of these factors are fulfilled. And India has the maximum number of cities that have a poor air quality, and we are also having the hazardous waste at a very economical proportions here. So having to look at it, an adolescent as a person is influenced by his family, his physical environment, and social environment. More so, in an adult can survive separately without even a family, but adolescent and children are so much dependent on this environment. And we can look at here in the environment, they found all these factors are influencing their micro environment and disturbing them. It actually starts even when they are in the womb. When they found out that 50,000 mother-child pairs were taken here, and they found out that the hazardous air pollutants, particulate matter, the trap, was found out in the womb of the child, and that led on to ADHD, ASD, food disorders, and many such problems here. There has been a special survey going on with environmental influences on child health outcomes, which has been, it's a multi-centric study supported by a huge nation and which a huge funding into it. And they are looking at what is the exposure, environmental and exposure is causing the health of the newborn, health of the adolescents, as well as for the children. So this ACHO is looking at reducing all such impressions by the environment so that the adolescents have a healthy environment here. So they are looking at the effects on child health and development, effects on maternal health, and have published more than 273 papers on the same. So this is one such paper, and you can look at it. So many papers are there that really says that how much we have disturbed our environment that has led on to the health issues and mental issues in adolescents. Having looked at it, we are going to see how much the injuries, asthma diseases, malaria, the zoonotic diseases have increased. So we will have our panelists to look at, into the environmental influences on child health outcomes through a series of cases which you are dealing daily in your routine practice. Through that, you will understand that we should not only concentrate only on the antibiotics or on the medical methodology. We also need to look at a closer environment, look into how they are there. See, even for smaller diseases, we will be changing the antibiotics, whereas the problem would be in the immediate environment that has led to this issues. So we will be looking into this as in a case-based basis of how environment is impacting the adolescents. Adolescents are the greatest resources for a society to thrive. And when we are investing in adolescents, we are bringing a triple benefit because we are going to have a healthy adults and healthy future generation. So investing in adolescents is the one. So we'll take a case study one. A 13-year-old boy was brought for his routine checkup. His mother was very worried about her children's obesity and also feels his scrotal and testicular growth is infantile. I know this is a very common problem which all pediatricians who are practicing adolescents will know. She says generally they are very careful about the diet and does not eat outside. Most of the parents are very aware now. They also are looking at all the TVs and YouTubes, and they are becoming our health awareness here. But she says that the boy is not very active. Now, where have we given an environment for the child to play? If they go out, they are exposed to all sorts of vehicular traffic and they do not have a park to play. So she's not sending her out. And she also has a younger son who is obese. So this is the family picture for you. The 13-year-old boy is weighing about 154 centimeter and weighs about 94 kg. The clinical examination is normal but Tanner stage 1 in assessment. Hedges screening is negative for any warning signs. He is a normal school-going adolescent who prefers to watch TV and sit at home. So, Tripti, hi, you're the younger one and the very interested in adolescents. Can you tell me, this is a growing menace, and as in we are looking usually into dietary habits, and how do you see how much is contributed by the diet actually?
Yeah. So before I begin at the outset, I would like to thank Maha IP and Nashik AHN IP for giving me opportunity to participate in this important panel. And before we go to the question, let us discuss about the case. Let's decode this case. So this is 13-year-old boy with who is tall and obese. Can we go back? Yeah. So height is 154 centimeter and weight is 94 kg. So BMI of this child becomes 39, which is significantly high. So he is tall and obese. So tall stature largely rules out all the endocrinal causes, and his normal clinical examination, normal development largely rules out all genetic causes. So mostly he falls into exogenous obese category, and the only clinical pointer which points towards endocrinal abnormality is his Tanner's stage 1 development pubescent. So it is again important to understand that exogenous obesity itself can give rise to delayed puberty by suppressing the HPG axis, by causing imbalance of sex steroids. The fat cells, they secrete excess of estrogen, and they suppress the testosterone. So now coming to the case, how much is the dietary contribution? And the contribution is significant. Many studies show that diet contributes to around 50 to 80% of the cases of obesity. So exogenous obesity contributes to 98 to 99% of the cases. Only endocrinal and genetic etiologies, they contribute to only less than 1% of the cases. So yes, diet has significant role to play. And now, which are the key dietary contributors? So first, as we all know, faulty food choices. We know how junk causes obesity. The trans fats, saturated fats, the refined carbohydrates, they are highly dense. They will lead to inflammation and visceral fat deposition. The sugary beverages will cause spike in insulin, and which will lead to insulin resistance, again abdominal fat deposition. And there is inadequate intake of fruits and vegetables. So basically teenagers, they have lack of awareness of the nutritional contents, leading to the poor choices. And again, there are lot many faulty food habits, right? Eating excessive portion size, comfort eating, mindless eating, emotional eating, skipping breakfast, and all sorts of faulty food habits. So now basically we should teach children and teenagers to eat to fuel the body and not to feed the emotions.
Yeah, I understand, Tripti, that you have been very much, as an adolescent, you have been very much interested into looking at the diet. But how much of this, the mother says that she has not been giving any faulty food choices. I am getting such patients who are very clear. If you say that they're eating outside, they say no. And apart from the fact that she feels that the physical activity is less, she says that she has been taking care because her husband, you can see the photograph, and this is a real case. So he had an ischemic heart disease. So the family as such has gone into a better healthy habits here. Having said that, do you feel any feature in the environment could have led on to the same? Because we have many families like that who are health conscious, having on the diet, but still they are obese. You can even see we 40, our 35, 40 years, women keep going to the gym, but we never lose our weight, even though we are clear. Do you think any other feature in the environment is really contributing to it?
Yes, definitely. So one point here, this child is like a couch potato kid, extremely sedentary lifestyle, and even if he is not having any junk food, we don't know how much is the portion size of the family. And if we look at the whole family, whole family falls in overweight and obese category. And now coming to the environmental influence, yes, environment has a significant role to play. As WHO in a statement in 2024 has stated that obesogenic environment is something which contributes to obesity. And what is obesogenic environment? Which promotes weight loss, which promotes weight gain, and which is not conducive for the weight loss. So, for example, very high concentration of fast food restaurants, culture which promotes driving or walking, lack of green spaces for physical activity, and changing social norms because of unhealthy promotion of the unhealthy foods. So teenagers going to a fast food restaurant for celebrating their birthdays and all. So this is obesogenic environment. So high economic status, peer pressure, technological advances, all are contributing to obesity. And apart from these, of course, in utero exposure to like GDM, LGA, HGA babies, maternal adiposity, all these are contributing factors to the future obesity. And something very important I would like to point out here is endocrinal disruptors which are present in the environment, because obesity is like a rising menace. As per World Obesity Atlas 2020, the prevalence of obesity and overweight in children and teenagers in India is 9%, and it is projected to rise by 6.2% every year like an inflation. So the projected estimation of obesity by 2035 is 24%, which is very high. And all these cases of obesity are not explained by the traditional risk factors of diet and sedentary lifestyle. So this is something, this early exposure to endocrine disruptors in the environment is an emerging novel risk factors for the obesity. And what are these endocrine disruptors? So these are termed as obesogens like bisphenols, phthalates, parabens, which are present in the environment like hard and soft plastics, in personal care products, in pesticides, in our furniture, etc. So the sensitive time frame for their exposure is in utero, neonatal period, and infancy. So there can be transplacental transfer, there can be transfer through breast milk, and even hand to mouth activities of children, they can lead to their exposure. Can we go to the next slide, please? So how these obesogens, they cause obesity? So there are various mechanisms which are complex, like altered adipogenesis, insulin resistance, thyroid hormone disruption, neuroendocrine dysregulation, mitochondrial dysfunction, release of free fatty acids which produces oxidative stress. And what is very, very important is epigenetic modification due to DNA methylation and histone modification. This is very important to understand because it leads to transgenerational effects. So the effect is carried forward to the next generations. So
Right.
this was, yeah.
Very, very nice, very nicely put, Tripti, that it is not only the factor that we are concentrating on the diet and the lifestyle, we are blaming the children, and also, you know, the unexplained increase in the number of PCOD cannot be told only due to the lifestyle measures. You can see thin-built persons who are also conscious, who are going to all these marathons, everything, but still they have lifestyle-related problem, and you're very beautifully put across that we do have obesogens, and we can see that it is all pervasive, right? Having said that, this child spends more time in the internal environment. So do you feel how much of that is contributed by an increase in this endocrine disruptors or the obesogens?
Yeah, so coming to the internal environment, already I have just given some introduction. So, what are endocrinal disruptors basically? These are organic chemicals which are man-made and their analogs. And there are various examples. Can we go back to the previous slide, please? Yeah, so for example, perchlorates which are present in the groundwater, BPAs which are present in the lining of canned foods and beverages, phthalates which are liquid plasticizers which are used for food packaging, toys. I am not going to read out the slides, but the characteristic is they are ubiquitous in the environment, that the air we inhale, the food we eat, the water we drink, the clothes and furniture we use, everywhere there is presence of endocrinal disruptors. And a few more characteristics. Can we go back to go to the next slide, please? So they have low dose effect and they have non-monotonic dose effect. So what is monotonic? Monotonic is low dose, less effect, high dose, high effect. Okay. Non-monotonic is at low dose, they will act as hormone mimickers. At high dose, they will block the hormone, or they will have some other toxic effect. So whatever is the dose, the effect is going to happen. Another particular characteristic of, especially for persistent organic pollutants, which are industrial effluents, they have long half-lives. So either they don't degrade, or their degradation will take a very long time, like 30-40 years, and they are lipophilic. So they tend to accumulate in the body, leading to biomagnification. What is biomagnification? The concentration gradually increases up in the food chain, and the highest concentration is found in the human body. And there are various mechanisms of action. So how do they act? They will be hormone mimickers. They will block the receptor activity. They will block the binding. They will increase or decrease the hormone levels. So they can act at any state of hormone synthesis and hormone breakdown, causing endocrinal abnormalities.
So these endocrine disruptors, which are non-monotonic, capable of going across the food chains, and then you can find them right from the fish or the least planktons till about the humans. No, the endocrine disruptors are completely spread across, and they are definitely affecting the various systems, and more so with reproductive fertility problem and OCS. So having said that, so how do you think you can really modify? Let us give the positive outlook also, because whenever we say a problem, we also have to say how are we going to deal with it, right?
Yes. Yes, so I think looking at the rising prevalence of all the non-communicable diseases which we are facing, now it's time to ponder over their etiologies to curtail the menace. So there are various strategies, few which I would like to comment upon is raising public awareness through various health programs, health education programs, formulating and more importantly, implementing various health policies. At personal level, though we cannot completely avoid exposure to endocrine disruptors, we can definitely minimize them by taking measures like reducing plastic use, so using utensils made up of stainless steel, glass, etc.
Yeah, we'll come
Then,
to it in the further slides also.
okay. Again, using safer products. So try to make it a habit to read the labels like phthalate free, paraben free, BPA free, etc. Use more of organic products and less of fragments, fragments free products, because the word fragrance itself means that there is addition of hundreds of chemicals. So these are the few measures which we can take, and we can even ask for the delegates to do some intellectual gymnastics and put their inputs in the chat box once the chat box is open for the discussion.
Very true, very, very true. As well as we'll have to look into what are the indoor air pollutants, because there is the formaldehyde. Even if you are going to use your microwave, the radio frequency
Yes.
can also become the obesogens. So as you rightly said, let us invite the our delegates, participating delegates, to look into what are the obesity factors. So we invite you to look beyond a healthy lifestyle and couch potato type of in adolescents. In fact, they are still more. They are very aware of all the problems. They are trying to work on it, but still we are having so much in the environment that is contributing to this. There are a lot of obesogens we are contributing. We'll have further discussion on this as we proceed about the microplastics and all that. Having said that, we come to a case 2 here. Now I invite Satish Agrawal sir to come in. Kerala was given an alert after teen test positive for Nipah virus in Malappuram. And everywhere we are having a deep interest in the tropical infections. And in any panel you see, we are talking about the zoonotic infections only, because we do know the rickettsial infections, the brucellosis and leptospirosis are coming up here. And dengue, which was just a part of our microbiology book as a single line, had become an important one. And somewhere COVID also seems to be a problem with the environment here. Having said that, we are about 200 zoonotic diseases which have been caused by bacteria. 13 out of 200 zoonoses caused about 2.4 billion deaths, and 60, we know rabies is coming up in a very big way, and we have the zoonosis from the dogs also. So what do you think is the reason, and how are we really going to go about with this, sir?
Thank you, Dr. Narmada ma'am. My sincere thanks to my IP President Dr. Sheja sir and the Secretary Dr. Amol Pawar sir. Thanks to AHA Nashik, especially Dr. Atul Kanikar sir, for giving the chance to be over here. The very fact that we start with the zoonotic disease. Zoonotic diseases are the infections which are caused by the animals, spread by the animals. Now, as you said, there is really an increase in zoonotic diseases. If you go by the figures, so of the known infectious diseases, 6 out of 10, they are zoonotic in nature. And new infectious diseases, 3 out of 4, they are found to be zoonotic in nature. Now, about the note on zoonotic disease, we know this HIV started as a zoonotic disease only. And how severe it can be, we have seen during COVID period. Now, the spread of the zoonotic disease, it can be from the animals by direct spread or indirect spread, direct by the saliva, like bite, or in contact with saliva, mucus, blood. Indirect by the utensils or by water plate used by the animal, or through contaminated soil, water, or anything. When a person comes in contact, he may get infected. Now, about the contribution of the environment, this can be because of the overpopulation. Overpopulation is one of the things, because as the population increasing, we are consuming the resources very rampantly, and if it is unplanned, so there will be deforestation. The land will become, it will be consumed, and there will be because basically the zoonotic diseases are because of contact with the animals. And these animals can be domestic, wild, or agricultural. As the population is increasing, there is increased demand for the poultry products, for the meat products. And because of this, there will be increased contact with the animals. And as we are encroaching, we are consuming the land, deforestation. So we are going near to wild animals. Hence, there is increase in zoonotic type of diseases. Now, as far as environmental factors are concerned, because of the unplanned urbanization or increase in the housing, the land is getting consumed. And because of the increased demand on the livestock farming for the meat and meat byproducts, for dairy, we need to have exhaustive agricultural practices. All these things, they will lead to pollution. And all kinds of pollution, like it is air, soil, water, anything, it will lead a detrimental effect on the human health. As the slide shows the bottom, deforestation and habitat fragmentation. We need all this land, and this land is getting encroached upon the natural habitats of the animals who get migrated, and it leads to close contact with the animals, and there is an increase in the zoonotic diseases.
Actually, if you're looking at it, we are almost consuming 80 kg per meat every year in Western countries. And India, we are consuming about 10 kg, the low-income countries, per person, you mean. So look at the huge population of 1.4 billion. So we are consuming so much of meat. And naturally, we are going into the wildlife. So these are some of the top 8 zoonotic diseases of national concern. So can you elaborate on this, sir?
So, the zoonotic diseases, as I said, it is in close contact with the animals. Animals, as I said, it can be wild, domestic, or agricultural. And because of this close contact, because the 3 factors, they are important. First is the human population. It is increasing. It is consuming all the natural resources. Second thing is the earth. Because of its natural environment and because of the consumption of the resources, there is change in the earth. And the most important is the international migration. And that is why the thing which is occurring in one place, it gets spread to the other place within no time. That's why this infection is occurring at one place becomes endemic in another place. As we take the example of the zoonotic influenza, initially started with the birds and then it spread to all the animals and even the human beings. Salmonellosis, it recurs again and again. It is one of the most important zoonotic disease which causes not only mortality but the morbidity also. And same thing is happening with other listed diseases also.
Yeah, exactly, sir. That is why WHO has started a workshop to prioritize, the zoonotic thing. Rather than concentrating on we have to concentrate on the management part of it, but still prevention is the most important aspect. And in that, we are going to have to know how much of our human intrusion into the animal population we have actually intruded into their space, and we are facing the brunt of it by getting so many diseases. Having said that, what do you think that the human population can do, or what was the prime factor in all this, sir?
Because population is increasing and it is consuming all the resources. So there are 2 things. If we think we can do, we can really do. Where there is a will, there is a way. Now, 2 things, either we decrease the population or control the population, or we plan the cities according to where we live it. And we have got a very good example. We can really do it. Like if we plan the cities and we plan the cities accordingly, we can really decrease the number of contact with the animals and obviously the zoonotic diseases. Now for planning, as the left side of the slides is showing, we need to pay attention to the building, the public space, streets, transport. Transport is one of the major important factor for this pollution and carbon dioxide emission, landscape. Now, this is not a theoretical thing. This is a really practical thing. We have got an example of Copenhagen in Denmark, which is having a goal of carbon neutrality by 2025, and it has got all green transport options as bicycle and e-cars. They are planning to have power plants which can convert waste into energy, and they are to start 100 wind turbines, decreasing the pollution. So it will be really an eco-friendly city. You got another example. Last slide. Previous slide. Amsterdam in Netherlands, which has got an extensive network of bike lanes. They are known for eco-friendly public transport system and green buildings. As I said, transport is one of the major important factors for carbon emission. Hence, there is a suggestion that instead of having individual transport system, if you use public transport, and that too green public transport, probably we can reduce the carbon dioxide emission and it will be eco-friendly. Next. Hong Kong is another example, which is densely populated in the world, and it has a comprehensive public transport system, which I elaborated last. And this is the 12-step program for coping with sprawl, urban sprawl, the urbanization which is increasing as the population is increasing. And the from 1 to 12, ma'am, do you want to read me or it is?
No, sir. No, sir. We just want to introduce. See, the idea of we are actually thinking expansion is, see, for example, in Delhi was there. Then we started. Bangalore alone has encompassed about more than 200 villages in the past 20 years. So we have started to, we are expanding in the vertical side. Actually, we have to go in the topmost, like vertical side, rather than going horizontal. And we have to decrease. One person is having 2-3 houses, or when we are actually using more number of cars, we are going to occupy more spaces. And so all these are going to increase our contact with the animals, because we are going to intrude on their space. So rather than thinking about cities becoming horizontal, it is better to think about vertical, include the public transportation system, so that we reduce on the number of cars we have, number of houses we have, thereby our environment will be protected. Having so we'll just move on from another cases which is very disturbing to us. 17-year-old adolescent, was brought by his parents as his asthma has been really worsening this season. So he was a lovable child. He did well in his studies, and recently he's been admitted in one of the top engineering colleges. Before bringing him in, his mother says to me that he's seen a matchbox in the room. So how do you really proceed, Balachandra sir? Because this is another problem that is coming up with the adolescents, very closely related to environment.
Thank you, Maharashtra IIP and my friend Amolji, and Central IIP AHA, as well as AHA Nasik, for inviting me for this panel discussion, moderated by Dr. Narmada. So, the smoking on adolescent health, I can tell you from my experience as an adolescent 40 years back, was very much attracted to the covers of Marlboro, Oscar, that is what I remember, and Scissors, something like that, Royal King. Even though I didn't smoke that time, but I was very much attracted to the covers. So that is the main attraction of the tobacco industry, by recruiting new smokers to smoke, especially the adolescents. They also invited the macro men of Bollywood, Shah Rukh Khan and all. So that is the secret of this tobacco smoking in adolescents. And about we know that about 20 million children of this age group, this 10 to 14, according to the National Sample Survey organized of Indian government, smoke, addicted to tobacco. And it affects almost all systems of the body, especially addiction to nicotine. That is very important, because it can affect physically, mentally, emotionally, and even the social health of the children, as well as adolescents, as well as the family. So can you go to the next slide? So from this chart, we can see that the most common, the most frequently seen smokers is in the northeastern part of our country, like Arunachal Pradesh, Mizoram and all. And fortunately, other states are less, but the average, you can see the average tobacco smokers is 8.5%, our national average. But in Arunachal Pradesh, one out of 2 adolescents is smoking. So that much we can see Mizoram, almost all. Up to that Uttar Pradesh 1 in 4, Sikkim 1 in 4, Meghalaya 1 in 3, Nagaland and Mizoram, Arunachal Pradesh, all these smokers are very high. And almost 100% of the adolescents who smoke before the age, start smoking before the age of 18 years, will be continuing that. That is the study shows. And once they start for just for a party and all, within 1 to 2 years, they will be chronic smoker. That is another problem. And according to this that I said earlier, global youth tobacco survey, 8.5% of the 13-15 years adolescents smoke. Next slide, please. And the tobacco industry markets tobacco and nicotine products as less harmful novel products like gadgets or toys, but it is not the right thing. And hooking the young even before the adolescent, that is their aim, and become they're addicted to nicotine. And coming to our question, Dharmada, that what are the effects of smoke on adolescent? So can broadly classify into respiratory and non-respiratory mobility. The respiratory illness, the chronic acute respiratory infections, they are prone to, as well as their exacerbation of asthma. They can get asthma later on, the lung cancers, and this e-cigarettes and vaping associated lung injury, even though in India it is not much reported, and other non-respiratory conditions like sudden death due to stroke, peripheral arterial disease, and atherosclerosis. All these are the clinical effects of smoke, and the respiratory and non-respiratory. And the second thing is the addiction to nicotine. That is also is very important, especially in adolescents. Even smoking for a party, they will be prone to this addiction later on. And the third most important is the dental health problems in adolescents. The lips gets darkened, the dental problems will be occurring. And the general health of the young people who smoke is also diminished, and the cardiovascular diseases, metabolic syndrome is commonly seen in those who start their smoking in the adolescent age group, and the musculoskeletal problems also. That also
actually can see the obesity can also be linked to here if they're going to be the teenagers smoking. But this is like everybody, we are very much aware as a doctor according to this. But how do you think that this amount of smoking in a younger children has affected the air pollution of our places also?
Yeah. So the smoking, it is not the person who just smoke will be affected. Usually I tell my patients, those who are smoking will dig graves for at least 3-4. Those who are alcoholic will dig their graves only 1 grave. So that's the difference. Once we tell you like that, no, the parents will know the importance of smoking. Parents with smokers. So the 3 types of smokers are smoking: active smoking, passive smoking, and the third hand smoke. The active smoking inhales the mainstream of smoke from the cigarette during the puff. And the second hand smoke, in addition, in addition to that comes off from the end of the smoke, they also smoke that the smoker exhale. That is usually the family members. And the third hand smoke is the residual nicotine in the tobacco, which gets deposited in the indoor spaces, and this risk is more in children who are closer to the ground. So the cancer causing chemicals, there are tobacco smoke contains around 7,000 chemicals, whereas in secondhand smoke itself it is around 4,000 chemicals, and out of which more than 50 to 70 causes cancer. And infant passive smoking varies from countries from 10% to 70%, as high as 70% in some countries. In European countries, maybe less, but in other countries, African countries and all, it is up to 70%. So coming to the question that what is the effect of smoking on the air pollution? This is because of release of carbon dioxide and methane and other greenhouse gases, which produces and also produces the fine particulate matter, which is less than 2.5, is very harmful. Carcinogenic chemicals are released that will come later. And the smoking parents, those children born to smoking parents, they have got a higher chance of infant mortality up to 80%, and they got acute respiratory infection increased by 60%, 50% increase in recurrent otitis media and other problems, 38% chance of pneumonia at the age of higher chance of pneumonia at the age of 1 year, almost 40% chance of chronic respiratory illness, increase in exacerbation of asthma by 20%, and infant deaths can be avoided if the pregnant woman quits smoking. And the SIDS also incidence is 5 times higher risk in a family with smoking parents. So
now they claim that the women are more into e-vaping, so that is less, the air pollution is also less.
But fortunately, in India, we have banned, even though it was introduced in 2007, by 2019, we banned this vaping, and also our studies also very less. This vaping, vaping is what the electronic nicotine delivery system that ends, and the electronic non-nicotine delivery system. There are two types of e-cigarettes. The other one do not contain tobacco, but they contain nicotine, which are harmful to health. That I said earlier can produce more of addiction. Easily can cause an addiction. It's just a word about the e-cigarettes. It is a this liquid. It's a e-liquid which is contained in a cartridge with a battery-powered coil. Can you show the next slide? With a battery-powered coil to create a mixture of vapor and aerosols, and that's inhaled by the user. So even see, these are the various pictures of the very attractive things. I've been to abroad recently. I saw the train. I saw many adolescent age group children, adolescents having these e-cigarettes with them. Even drugs are legal in that European country. So they were using this. I saw the e-cigarettes for the first time when I went there. So
Yeah.
these e-cigarettes charges these adolescents through social media. They are very attractive. Around 16,000 attractive flavors are there, sleek designs, and also it's very attractive to the younger generation. And
But
fortunately,
does it really, is it like, leave about the smoking health effects you've already said. So they will claim that I'm not smoking the things. So there's no chance of passive smoking here. So can I do it? That is what will be the thing. So what do you think it has got an effect on the environment here?
yeah, but even with the use of starting with this, even a few days of this thing, nicotine addiction will come up with this e-cigarettes. That is the thing. Nobody knows that. And in the USA, about 10 to 27.5% is, that is 1 in 4 adolescent is addicted to this e-cigarettes. In UK, it is around 7 to 11%. Asia, not in India, but in other states like Thailand and all, it is up to 10%. And the substances found in e-cigarettes are the nicotine. That is 15 to 50 milligram per ml of nicotine is there in this e-cigarettes. This is around 2 ml. So around 2 ml, if you use e-cigarettes for 1 hour, that particular adolescent is prone to get 30 to 100 milligram of nicotine, of which 30 to 60 is lethal. So I can imagine how much nicotine is getting in. And others like tobacco, alkaloids, free radicals, and all there in polycycloaromatic hydrocarbons, phthalates are all substances found in e-cigarettes. And these are all potent carcinogens, which can be classified into class 1, class 2A, and class 2B. And class 1 is formaldehyde, benzene, butane, butanol, and cadmium. And class 2A is, the lead and all acetaldehyde. Class 2B, possible carcinogens are the acrolein, toluene, and nickel.
Having said that, it does definitely has an effect on the environment also. Apart from this adolescent, and so many adolescents are smoking, we are going to have an environmental thing. So do you think, as we already seen in all the cases, how can we really prevent the same?
So there is no safe limit for tobacco use. Even as I said earlier, just 1 to 2 years enough to an adolescent who started smoking occasionally. Within 1 to 2 years, he can be addicted to nicotine. So there is no safe limit. We should not encourage at all, and should give emphasis on the acute effects rather than the chronic effects to adolescents. Acute effects is more important, and we should stress that e-cigarettes and juuling has very strong addictive potential. So in your clinic, you can use the 5 A's for helping this adolescent. First is you ask the smoking status. For every adolescent who's coming to us for the day-to-day practice, you should ask the smoking status. If yes, or if it is occasionally also, you should advise to quit. And you should be very brief and should be personalized depending on the patient. And we also assess the willingness to quit. To assess the importance, readiness, and confidence of the adolescent. And you also assist in quitting. How we can quit by counseling, analyzing past attempts, because only 20% of the those adolescents who try to quit will be successful. That means other 80% will not be successful. So you should assist in quitting, as well as you arrange the follow-up by following up that adolescent.
I'm very sure the adolescents will, we have to do, so we most for the environment also. So for what time, I'll just tweet it and I'll go to Dr. Geeta ma'am for another interesting case on about a 15-year-old who comes to the OPD with a difficulty in breathing. So as a child, she has been given various inhalers, ma'am, and meds, and has been admitted twice in the ICU with supportive care. Finally, at the age of 8, she stopped getting further episodes. Now, again at 14 years, she has started getting the episode and he has been evaluated multiple times. So I did the serum specific skin testing and we also referred to CMC. If you can see, she was done with the ABPA panel because they wanted to rule out fungal sensitization. The IgE levels were very low and the specific IgE was also low. Her skin testing, there was no sensitivity at all noted, but spirometry was very much suggestive of a reversible airway disorder, which definitely said she did have an asthma, but it did not come as an IgE mediated one. Her CT scan was normal and she continued to have exacerbation. She was on this formoterol and budesonide up to about 400 microgram. And as we also added a thiotropium for her. So this is definitely a case of uncontrolled asthma, ma'am. So how do you proceed in such cases, ma'am?
So let me first summarize that this girl, about when she was a child, she had a severe asthma which was uncontrolled and she had a non-modifiable risk factor, that admission in the ICU. So it was very difficult and somehow it was managed. By the 8 years she was all right, but 6 years later again she had that exaggeration, all exacerbation started. So reason should be, as we have seen, that there is no any allergy, because I am not an allergy specialist. Narmada is. I'm lucky that Narmada is with us. So there is no use of any sublingual immunotherapy, and very lucky that we got a spirometry done, and it is essentially required that it should be done wherever it is possible, and adolescent it is possible. CT scan is done because of the repeated evaluation to rule out the mimic. So next to that, she has been using a high dose of inhaled corticosteroids. So we all have learned in ATM and GINA guidelines this high dose inhaled corticosteroid, plus again she was added with LAMA, that is a tiotropium. So she's in the almost step 4 to 5. So do we have to add biologicals or to oral steroid? It is very important for us. So what is the uncontrolled asthma? We should know about that. So let us go for the next thing, that first and foremost, we know how to confirm the diagnosis. We know that this is severe asthma. We have to rule out the comorbidities. Obesity is very common post-COVID. She might have been in that and she may be obese. Nothing is mentioned there, but we have to know that.
She was a normal thin-built individual.
Obesogenic environment, we tell in the joke that it happens in the family. It runs in the family because no one in the family runs. That is the way. And then other thing is allergic rhinitis, obstructive sleep apnea, GRD, or very common anxiety, depression during this phase. That has to be done, and seasonal variation. But I'm a little differ. I'm from Bangalore. I'm not seeing any seasonal variations of asthma. Incidence is increasing 2 to 18%, we say, but it may be more. See, we are getting rains anytime. Climate has changed. We know one thing: when there is a high temperature and high humidity, the dust mite allergy increases. Anytime the climate is changing, which is very important for us to know. So we know that in a maybe there are humidity and temperature changes increases the fungal or pollen allergy also. So we have to remember that. Then assess, adjust, and review. We know in the So we know that our step 2, step 4 or step 5 in between, whether we have to go for oral corticosteroid or biological. But we always know that in this case, confirmation of diagnosis was done, comorbidity was ruled out, mimic was not there. Then we have to think about the triggers. So let us see what is a difficult asthma. Difficult asthma, this is definitely a difficult asthma. We have used the 2 controllers. And they say that here we have used the 2 controllers with the oral corticosteroid if you use more than 50% in these 12 months. So there are 2 things we have to remember: difficult to treat asthma and severe asthma. Difficult to treat asthma we see in many teenagers. So we have to know about that because of non-compliance, then improper use of drug dose delivery, then not correcting the comorbidities or triggers. But severe asthma, adherence, and manage the comorbidities. So here almost 5 to 10% cases are there. This is a very important thing, we should not jump to the biologicals and steroid. Before that, let us take for uncontrolled asthma. We should not underestimate environmental role. So
Yes, ma'am.
as we told, the compliance and then use of
Again,
SABA
we looked
without
at the
steroid.
compliance, we have checked everything. Do you think any other factors in the history will now help? As you rightly said, we are not
Yes,
going to jump.
definitely environment is going to play a role, indoor, outdoor allergens.
What are the particular factors, ma'am?
In that there are exacerbations happen because there are many things are there. First and foremost, indoor we see this is the history which we have to take it, whether there is an allergy in the family, any fever expectoration which rules out infective causes, obesity we saw, starting up any sports newly, starting sports. Exercise is also one more trigger, but it doesn't mean that you should eliminate exercise. We should manage the exercise by doing a warm-up exercises or doing the exercise in the afternoon. And there was nothing, no pets, furry pet or any pet. There is no change in house, school or any construction going on or leakage, because we know the pollens or fungus in the house. Then bugs is a very common problem in our Indian houses in the kitchen. Cockroaches, dust mite is a very problematic for us. And any respiratory tract infection in the family, experts say that rain, thunderstorms are very much associated. And no stress in the school or house, we have asked. And apart from that, we have to see the triggers I told. The triggers, okay. Asthma is always important for us because it causes a disturbance of the lung function, hospitalization, increased medication use, increases the respiratory problem, it increases the healthcare cost and asthma related quality of life. So acknowledging the environmental factors are very important here. What are the triggers? Already I told. We have seen that. I think we can go to the trigger. Okay, these are the triggers we should know. And how to get over these triggers, we have to ask in our history. So exacerbation of asthma, very common. Diesel exhaust when the child is going or adolescent is going on the road because they have to go for their school or extracurricular activities, they are exposed to these vehicles. Then particulate matter in air, we all know PM, what is the size of the particulate matter. I'm not going into detail. Already tobacco smoking. This girl may be smoking herself also as it is increased. We have to take that history. Then pets, then these greenhouse gases which accumulate on the lower level, and these children and adolescents are little short, they get affected. So all these environmental history is very important before jumping to biological or referring to the pulmonary specialist. We should do that. I already covered all these things.
Yes, madam.
Indoor and outdoor allergens. And this is a very important thing, that interplay of exposure that impacts the development of atopy. Everything should not be IG mediated. So like a cesarean section delivery, use of antibiotic, then this thing, bottle feeding, formula feeding, as well as these all bugs cause allergy. And they are all, many of the things which are shown here are pro-inflammatory to develop asthma in future. So we have to remember that environment is a very important. I can say genetical propensity is very important. Next slide. Which can act as a brick and mortar, but environment will be an architect. So it is very important for us to look into that. What is the allergen? Already I have covered all the points of environmental factors. So it is very important for us to take an environment history without forgetting.
Yeah. So we are looking at generally IgE mediated asthma is what we are commonly thinking in childhood asthma. But when we go into the adolescent group, there is one special entity which is the Th17 mediated, not going through the IgE. You may get your atopic skin testing as negative. Definitely it's an asthma. The skin testing may be negative, serum specific IgE may be normal. But you look at it, child is having, it's a very difficult to treat. So again, it's a neutrophilic variety. Here it is where we have to go into the individual phenotype and endotype of asthma, and we have a significant chunk now being contributed by smoking and environmental pollution, which are becoming very difficult to control. There your biologicals or nothing is going to work. It's only the environmental modification. Having said that, ma'am, how do you really evaluate the environmental influences? Is there a structural format for that?
Now we have got a very great tool we call as a green page, and it is being done by WHO, and this is a really a great tool for us. we have to take this history for symptomatic as well as asymptomatic child. It will help to improve the well-being of the child, and our policymakers will take care. The environment may not be correct. So many things are there, and we know the climate change is causing so much problem for everyone. Climate is not that you can predict any time now, and that has caused a lot of problem. The first slide, I think, yes, this is all demographic details. Second one, then here I think exposure history it is. Already I had told this exposure history, how we have to take it. See, including parents, occupation makes a lot of difference. Whether they are staying in the basement makes a lot of difference. Houses, go to the school which are old schools, which are not repaired. And climate change, obviously climate change, we have to think a lot. They are getting exposed to these climate change. So many problems are there, like we already discussed about the greenhouse gases settling down. And when they're up, it is definitely helpful. And this environmental exposure rating, this is really a novel method which we have to know. This is called as environmental condition. All the things are available, but let us start using this green page. And public services make a lot of difference. Having a waste collection, waste disposal, public transport, public lighting, healthcare center, all sewage system, all these things count a lot in our environmental thing. As we know, the asthma incidence is increasing. Obviously, all of us, we know that we say 2 to 18%. Why it is increasing? Is it only genetic propensity? No, there are many things are there. Out of that, environment is one important thing which we have to take a history. And this might have got all right, some trigger may be there.
Thank you so much, madam. So we are dealing with a really different type of an asthma, the IgE mediated. So from here on, it will be a rapid fire. Tripti, can you say that Jen spends about 2 to 4 hours on screen? And as an adolescent specialist, you know very well about what is happening with the, what is the effect of the screen time. But I just want you to tell me, what is the special stress on the environment because of this?
Yeah, definitely. So environment basically mobile phone production through its entire life cycle from production to disposal affects the environment in many ways. For example, it causes resource depletion. So important minerals like lithium, cobalt, gold, they require mining extraction leading to habitat destruction, deforestation, soil erosion. Then there is a lot of carbon emission. So it is said that one mobile phone through its entire life cycle emits around 45 kilograms to 60 kilograms of carbon dioxide.
Now I'll ask Satish Agarwal sir to tell about that. Sir, can you tell about what is the carbon footprints generated not only by the production but also by the usage of the mobiles? Satish sir? Dr. Satish?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah.
So basically, waste is what is not in use. That is a waste. And this waste, it causes the carbon dioxide emission or greenhouse emission, and that is what is called as the carbon footprint. Now, what is carbon footprint? It is a measure of the carbon dioxide generated by an individual or by an organization, by a country. So it is a measure of how much carbon dioxide is generated. Now, greenhouse gases generally produced, it depends on the personal lifestyle and consumption pattern. For example, transportation, diet, energy consumption, waste generation. Transportation, as I said, if we go for individual transportation, more and more fuel will be consumed, more and more carbon dioxide will be generated. Instead, if you go for public transportation, less carbon dioxide will be generated and less carbon footprint will be present.
Generated. So, but by using a mobile phones also, every time one mobile is generated, we are generating a carbon footprint. And whenever we are using an internet or a connectivity there, even now, so many people would be watching the mobile, so much amount of carbon footprints are selected. Having said that,
even if what we are using as email, it's also generating the carbon
footprint.
Like whatever we are using the internet and whatever we are storing at cloud. So whatever the fuel is requiring for the air conditioning 24/7, it is generating carbon.
Yes.
So that is why it is advisable to use less and less email, delete it repeatedly, and keep it at a very limited extent. So even cloud storage, it is generating the carbon.
Yeah. Very true, sir. So the screen time is not only, it is not the screen time alone with regard to the mobile. So much amount of carbon footprints we are generating. Bala sir, can you tell what are the other problems because of the mobile? Because every time, iPhone 16 came, we just left our iPhone 13 and the new Android comes, we are dealing it. So we are also generating a huge amount of e-waste due to the mobiles. Can you say what are the huge problems due to this?
Yeah. So as you said, now once you get a new mobile, it's our custom to throw away the next mobile, but our own mobile. But what I did was when I got a iPhone, no, I was my daughter was using a Samsung. I gave that when I got the second iPhone, I gave that iPhone to my daughter, and she gave that Samsung to my wife. Now the third iPhone I gave to my son, and so it's going on like that.
So, but you are the bigger person who's getting the advantage.
Yeah. So
That's the time when your son is going to ask when.
Yeah, we should not throw away that phone. We should use it again. So to know that, we should know that that e-waste includes electric and electronic equipments. That is, the government of India has identified 21 types of electronic and electric equipments. So e-waste means anything which is not in use. That is, and not recyclable also. Whereas e-scrap is one which can be recycled. So they're classified into white goods and brown goods. White goods are those household items like refrigerators, washing machines, and microwaves, whereas brown goods are the TV, radio, computer, and all this, mobile phones and all. And also that this can be the e-waste can be classified into white goods, brown goods, pollutants. Next slide. Can you show the next slide? Next slide. So the white goods which are used in now day-to-day practice, brown goods which use commercial, that TV, radio, computer, and mobile phones, and pollutants which include ferrous metals like iron, steel, plastic, glass, and all. Non-ferrous materials like copper, aluminum, all these silver, gold, and platinum, and the toxic materials like lead, cadmium, mercury. So these are the various e-waste. Can you show the previous slide? So the sources of these e-slides are the heavy metals like arsenic, cadmium, lead, lithium. All these are the harmful things which through e-waste we get in our day-to-day life. That is LED, semiconductors. All these are the source of arsenic, which is harmful to our GIT and as well as skin. Whereas cadmium is harmful to our causing malignancy, which we get through the batteries and all.
We understand that the heavy metals are creating
heavy metals.
Madam, is there a very safe method for disposal of the same or the e-waste generation? What are we really doing with Geeta, ma'am?
The reasons for increase in e-waste is one is increased consumption rate and shorter life cycle. The limited repair options that we have to throw it away. Then growing electronification, demanding new gadgets. All these are an affording capacity of our parents, technological progress, and inadequate e-waste management infrastructure. All these are the causes of increase in e-waste. And by 2022, in India, 62 billion kilogram of e-waste. That is almost 82% increase from 2010, and only 22% is recycled. That is only 1/3 is still now recycled.
So it's a huge generation. Geeta, ma'am, can you tell how do we?
Yes, obviously the problem is so much. It is really a problem to be tackled on a war footing. Already it is described how much we are generating and what are the hazards because of that. So India, as Narmada told, I took my iPhone and then suddenly within 3 months the new phone came. Then I took other one. Then there is always dilemma, but everyone cannot donate your phone to others, and sometimes it is just redundant. So I think they say we are the maximum use of electronic gadgets in India, and we generate almost 1/5 of the e-waste. So imagine the magnitude of the problem. Yes, India has passed a rule in 2011, Indian government, and it was revised in 2016, but nothing came out. Implementation is not there. There is a lack of infrastructure, especially not in rural area, in urban area also, because it is very expensive things they say. And as you have described so many things, it has not reached to the community, that awareness has not developed. And there is urgent challenge, but we know that there is an unscientifically disposed here, like a informal way by burning, acid wash, And children and adolescents are the rag pickers. Without any protection, they are using, and almost 95% illegally recycled. So it is definitely a problem which we have to look into very seriously.
Yeah, now I would invite Dr. Tripti to say how actually they are polluting the environment and what really impacts on the adolescents because of this uncontrolled disposal of e-waste.
Yeah, so they pollute the environment by all means, like solids, liquids, and gases. So when when the e-waste is dumped into the landfills, there will be extraction of these toxic materials into the groundwater, contaminating the drinking water and also the aquatic life. The toxic industrial effluents which are poured into the underground aquifers directly, they will also pollute the environment. Then the e-waste which is improperly disposed, like due to burning, like madam has already pointed out, and dismantling activities, they will emit out very toxic gases like dioxins and furans, which will pollute the environment. Then there is greenhouse effect due to which will cause climate change and global warming. And then there is something called as metal leaching. So when there is these heavy metals or solids like lead, mercury, cadmium, they are there in the land for many years, the soil will get contaminated, affecting the soil fertility. So these are some of the important ways of the environmental
Satish
pollution.
sir, having known the important effects of this one, can you say how the government or how can we really tackle as a same as an IAP body or as in the government?
It is to be done at three levels: the consumer, the manufacturer, and the government. The consumer who is consuming these electronic goods or electric goods. So in any environmental problem, the solution is designated by 3 R's. 3 R's is reduce, reuse, and recycle. Over here, the 4R is repair. And it should employ the common charging system. So if the common charging system is there, so there will be less carbon dioxide emission, less of greenhouse emission, and less of global warming. E-fasting. E-fasting is one of the very nice concept where it turn off all the notifications on our mobile, turning phones while working, and setting limits for the last time spent on technology on daily basis. The figures have shown that a person is working who is working for 16 hours, so he's shaking for 11 hours. Once in 11 hours, he's spending so much of time on screen, as you have enumerated. For manufacturers, the guidelines are they should use the green electronics. So less of this waste will be generated. Reusability of the products. And they should set up recycling plants. Like whatever is waste which has been used, they should take it back. And where should it be used? So they should provide the bees for the consumers to keep it over there. No, previous segment, previous. And they should have bring back policy. Like Dr. Bala sir is fortunate enough that he has got so many members. But if suppose I'm alone over here, I get an iPhone which I haven't got yet. But if suppose I get the iPhone, my previous phone. So the company should have a bring back policy. They should return the money or they should provide a phone with a less cost. And the most important thing, the things which are not in use, they should either be donated, they should either be repaired, and they should be given as charity. Next.
Very, very true, sir.
Government, they are doing the things. They have they enacted the laws, the rules, but the thing is the strict enforcement of the laws and the rules. So the most important thing is creating the awareness. The awareness, like you have elaborated about the screen time, the e-waste. The e-waste management rules were first notified in 2022 and got applied in 2023. Still, so much of waste is generated.
Yeah.
And the figures which you showed about 2022, it is estimated it may reach to 80 billion in 2030.
Yes, exactly. It is going to really become most of the waste are going to dump it in the sea. We are going to have it. But however, China has actually tried to convert it into a very beneficial one with the e-waste. So can Bala sir, can you very shortly tell about this so that we can proceed here?
Yeah, e-waste, there are many major beneficial effects of e-waste, but unfortunately in our country, we don't have much except in maybe, I know from only in Jodhpur, Rajasthan, they are recycling it. So otherwise, we don't have much. A ton of discarded mobile phones is richer in gold than a ton of gold ore. So for that, we have to go at countries like China. 10 lakh cell phones provide around 24 kg of gold. That comes to a huge amount. High value recoverable materials valued at $57 million That is, some is greater than the GDP of most of the countries. And US has dubbed that e-waste is urban mines, as the valuable means metals contained with them can be used to be used for new products like gold and copper and palladium. So that but unfortunately in India we don't have much recycling of e-waste.
Yeah. So Tripti, do we have time or we are running out of time?
Yeah, we can discuss for another 5 minutes.
5 minutes, okay. So in the 5 minutes, I have a very important question to ask to Geeta Madam about microplastics. Madam, this is another problem along with the e-waste. Whenever we are dismantling anything, one of the other thing is microplastics. Microplastics has reached into the umbilical cord, as we already said, and this has become a real problem now. And the single-use plastics have contributed more to it. Can you please elaborate on it very quickly?
Shortly, I think microplastics are the plastic fragments. And then what is it? See, plastics are in the domestic use, industrial use, everywhere in the form of bags or anything. We can say containers, glasses, even if the disposable glasses have got a plastic inside. So we don't know that and we call it as a disposable. I think we have to remember that. And it is less than 5 millimeter, and nanoplastic, I can say nanoplastic, less than 1 micrometer, which can cross the cell membrane and affects the cell functions also. And we have seen these, as I have to answer in short, it is everywhere, ubiquitous. It is present everywhere and has impacted everywhere. Aquatic life, we are proved by aquatic life, this plastic is found in the aquatic life, in the fish. So we say fish is a very healthy food. Is it so? When the industrial waste is dumped in the ocean, we have seen ourselves. So many things are there, capsules, everything. I think next slide. So how does it affect? Definitely it affects in all the ways. We can't imagine. We inhale the plastic, and adolescent definitely has got a more metabolic rate, respiratory rate. They inhale more, and we ingest also. Water bottles are everywhere. Apart from water bottles, beverages, we eat the ready-made food, which they are very much used. Container is there. Dust, because in the landfill, they get degraded. Less than 50 micrometer, which is not to be used, it is used. And there are toxic materials are there. Apart from that, let me only last point. It goes through the breast milk, it goes through the placenta, affects the fetal growth, affects the DNA damage, and it causes oxidative stress, affects all the things. It can work as an endocrine disruptors, already Tripti has told. So it affects metabolism, endocrine system, sexual, reproductive system, neurotoxicity, immune modulation. So we need to take a help, as that is the last point which we have to cover, management of the plastic.
Yeah, very true, madam. We are going to we have a very various method, but due to want of time, I will go to one another thing which Dr. Bala, I want you to specifically understand. See, you know, this climatic disaster we saw in Andhra Pradesh, and Wayanad was completely destroyed, you know, and there are for and against. They are saying human-induced climatic changes are to blame, and we definitely know, having read about all this, so much of our activity has led on to this. How do you think the adolescents, apart from the health aspect, have been significantly affected in Wayanad with this?
Wayanad incidents is very tragic for most of the adolescents, because one thing is they will lose almost good number has lost the shelter, their family, their security, and apart from the food and infections and as you said, the stress is the most important part of their life, and education, especially for girls, education has been severely affected, and especially disabled children, if any disabled children, they're also very much affected. The lower social, especially the lower socio-economic strata, and especially that Wayanad area was a place where lower socio-economic strata people were there, and child marriage and orphans. The orphanage has increased, that many children has come up, and gender-based violence also. Once children are taken by the relatives, they have to face the gender-based violence also. And the migration, maybe sometimes these children will have to go with their relatives, and that also causing stress.
So that's really the psychological trauma has been.
Psychological trauma.
What do you think, Dr. Satish sir, Tripti, Geeta ma'am? Do you want to add that about the climatic disasters which is happening?
Sure, ma'am. The climatic disaster, that's a common. And as we discussed in the beginning, that the adolescent brain and the psychology is changing so fast. They're having so new ideas, so many dreams in their mind. And if such climate diseases they occur suddenly, so not only they get affected physically, but mentally and emotionally too. As Dr. Balasan said, there might be separation, there may be physical damage. And the damage, even if it is minor, it will have a long-lasting effect on the mind. They have made so much of psychological impact. Is it my fault? The answer is no. Then whose fault is it? Why I am suffering? And if they get separated from our family members, the effect will be long lasting. So such psychological trauma it will be worse than the physical trauma.
Very true, very true. Adolescents are really getting affected not only with the climate, and it was when Greta asked us, "How dare you? We have actually destroyed the environment so much." So, any final
Add
note?
one point,
Yes, ma'am.
they are getting abused. Child marriages are increasing, abuse in all forms. Even especially girl child, we are facing a lot. And they are deprived of the socialization. There is new entity, climate anxiety, WHO says.
Yes.
The new word is solastalgia. And to reduce this climate anxiety, we have to create a climate resilience. And let us involve the adolescent. Why only Greta Thunberg? Everybody, adolescent, everyone can be a Greta Thunberg, like who has agitated against the government to take care of the climate change. In our own country also, there are many adolescents and they're very tech savvy. You can involve them. They can raise the voice. They can help us. And this post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety, phobia increase so much. So we have to think a lot, and environmental studies should be included in our curriculum in the children. And we are Environment Day, we are celebrating. Let us not celebrate only Environment Day. It should be day to day. We should think about that.
Yeah. Tripti, any final word, and then we can close the session.
No, I echo with everyone. I think majority of the points have been covered, and raising the awareness since childhood is very, very important.
Yeah.
What I feel. Yeah.
That's true. Thank you so much, all the experts, for giving in all of your inputs. And I also invite the delegates to look into the cases which we are seeing in our routine cases in a different perspective, not only from the medical point of view. We do not have a plan B. We have only one planet. The lot of the present problems in adolescents and children should be definitely viewed in the context of an environmental changes that are happening, and not restrict ourselves only to a very narrow point where you are looking only at the medical aspect of it. Greater awareness is definitely necessary, because we are the guardians, pediatricians are the guardians of the family, and we can make this change. Whatever we make the change is going to carry out in the adults. Necessary to discuss in very important forum. I urge Amol Pawar, who is in a very important position in the Central IAP, to give more time for the environmental issues, and also other and Neelam Mohan madam and Hima Bindu madam, who are the leaders of a thing, to give more importance here. And it is imperative to influence policy changes and stakeholders. Just like we are asking for a maternal and child government ministry, such that environmental ministry should be given a major part of it, so that our planet is protected, our children is protected. Responsibility is ours to handle, and we need to start protecting our planet, and it starts with you. So we end this with a positive note that our pediatricians will be involved more with the environment and look at more of environmental problem. And I really thank Maha-IAP for taking up this such an important topic for discussion.
Dr.
Thank
Narma,
you.
I want to highlight
Yes,
one point.
yes, Bala.
Nashik
Yes, Bala.
AHA and Nashik IAP I did not mention. And Amol Pawar, like vibrant person. I think Amol Pawar is there in the EB of this year. I think this should be taken in a different way. An environment chapter is being formed now, Bala sir. So we have to work little more hard that to create the awareness. And anyhow, every month there are webinars. 19th there is a webinar for environment chapter.
Yeah, ma'am. Bala also wanted to say something. Yes, Bala.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
Bala.
I want to underline what Dr. Tripti has said now, that we should start from the early childhood. There lies the importance of our National Green Army. I think that should be spread in all the districts of all the states. In Maharashtra, they've started in Nasik, but I think should spread to other states also. Then only everything, these adolescents will come to know about the environmental problems.
I really thank Maha-IAP for taking up this topic, and Dr. Tripti, Dr. Satish sir, Dr. Bala, and Dr. Geeta ma'am for such an inputs on a very important subject. Over to Amal sir for the final.
Sir, Amol
Thank
sir,
you.
I am very thankful for giving this in our AdoltsCon. You know that this was the session at the end.
Yes, yes.
We did not do a justice for that session.
Yeah, that's
Now you
why.
have done justice.
ma'am.
Thank you very much, sir.
Then, ma'am, that is true. Gita ma'am, that's
Yes.
true. And it was
Sir.
very fast. So many.
Such an important
delegates.
topic was kept at the end.
It should be given priority and some importance also. Amol Pawar, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
With the new specs, Amul's glamour has increased to 25.
That's
Now
it.
I am looking like oldie.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
doctor.
So
Any-
that was only the idea, madam. Dr. Trupti called me and asked me what we are going to do in December, and because of elections and Maharashtra IP conference, we have not taken any topic, any webinar in November. So we thought that we'll conduct this panel once again, and task was given to her to talk with all of you, and then you all agreed. And Dr. Geeta Patil madam also consented to be one of the panelists. She was not there in original panel, but now she came because she was very much busy in that AdultsCon conference which happened in Nasik. So thank you all of you. If any questions, I request all the delegates, if someone want to ask any queries to esteemed panelists, you can ask right now. Anyone?
Maybe we were too exhaustive or too.
I think all of them have listened to you, and almost
All of them are
the
thinking,
queries.
I think. So they are thinking what to ask because
Everything is answered.
everything is answered. See what has happened, Kerala, Karnataka, we are having a lot of environment sessions going on.
Yes.
Maybe we are introducing in Maharashtra through Dr. Amol Pawar. It will go on increasing and the awareness will develop. And the Green Army project, Bala sir, we can have here also in Maharashtra.
Sure.
Yes. So thank you, Narmada Ashok ma'am, for preparing a good PPT for this topic, and also
It is
talking with
special
all
appreciation.
panelists and discussing with them the need of the hour. And also you have, I already participated in your panel in Amravati, this environmental chapter conference. So it was great listening to you again. And Dr. Bala sir, Dr. Tripti, Dr. Geeta Patil madam, Dr. Satish sir all contributed to this webinar immensely. And at last, Nilamon ma'am came, so I request ma'am to speak.
I
again.
really wanted to say, I think you heard it in that thing, so it was not new for you. But I thoroughly enjoyed. There was a North Zone competition singing going. But the truth is that I attended that only 7 minutes total. And I couldn't stop hearing. All the 4 cases were very interesting. And the last and not the least, the tips and each speaker, you people were awesome. I mean, it was eye-opening, and I'm feeling sad in the sense, sorry to say that word, is that there is so much to be done, and this topic was quite ignored for quite some time because I learned a lot today, and I think, I mean, there was something I'd written in my action plan, and definitely that's why I was listening to this, because I wanted to learn more and more about how to go about that program. But yes, there was a lot to learn, and it is the need of the day. We don't act now, uh, our next generations will really curse us. So maybe they will call Amol and Narmada visionaries for having thought now. So wish you all the best, and there's lots to do in this field, definitely.
Ma'am, our attempt was actually no, greatly encouraged by Dr. Satish sir and Ananda Kesavan sir, Ramesh Bajania and Balachandra sir to make it case based. That was our idea. Idea is to see how the real cases are impacting us, and we are not thinking about whenever we think the
Hmm.
child is not improving with asthma, we immediately jump to only steroids or something.
Correct.
And when they have a zoonotic infection, we are immediately jumping only to the treatment part of it. But I think we should be thinking it from the environment
Prevention.
aspect, because all children are not responding to the same to the diseases, and we are stuck with one part of the management. So that is why we wanted to take it case based, madam.
It was very interesting because that's what I said. There's a lot to be done in this wheel, and
And this
we'll all
parents
do
and
it.
this obesity parents were real cases. They were going about, and I had advised them dietary advice, everything we did, but nothing really worked. So that is when, there are a
So
lot of
ultimately, how's that child now?
the child is improving, ma'am, on a strict diet control and everything. He is bringing down the weight and all that. And they said there's no endocrinological problem. So the parents are also reassured that he will become better. We have many of PCODs also like this, many of infertile patients, and it's all contributed for environment and not by their own mistake. We say the children that they're like
But there are so many confounders, it gets very
yes,
difficult
yes, ma'am.
to understand genetics and epigenetics because we don't do all those three genes, PNL, PA3, and TP. Those genes we don't really do. So it is very important. There are a lot of co-founders. But having said
You
that,
are in the liver, this thing, ma'am. NASH is something which is coming up,
yeah,
non-alcoholic.
today only I made a video.
Yeah.
I mean, tip, and in that video I said that in the next 10 years, the commonest liver disease in children globally is going to be fatty liver disease.
Yes.
Commonest
Yes.
globally.
Globally.
So that is what I was talking about today. But I guess I'm going to give 3 more video tips tomorrow to my followers. And definitely I'm going to steal the knowledge which I had from you all.
We are very lucky, Neelam madam,
Very happy
having Neelam madam, very lucky Narmada like moderator with us, who is so intelligent and so passionate, who has guided us to come out with good our
Yes.
thoughts.
Thank you, ma'am.
No, it was
Credit
very
goes
nice.
to Narmada.
We
Credit
will,
goes to Narmada.
we will sit and think more how to go about it.
Sure, ma'am. We'll be very happy
Thank
to take it on, ma'am.
Thanks.
Two
At least we
points.
could.
Two points. No, 2 points. One thing is that antimicrobial resistance we are talking about, and that is what the Dr. Namal brought out. Like for increasing agricultural demands, the antibiotics are being used in animals so much. So
Yeah.
zoonotic diseases are coming out. They are already antibiotic resistant. So one of the causes of AMR, antimicrobial resistance, is one of the zoonotic diseases. One thing. And secondly, the new concept, what is the health one? Like the human health is related to the animal health and the shared environment. Although not a new concept, which was supposed to be from 1800, but recently it is coming up. So again, related to environmental factors. So these environmental factors, they need to be given due importance. And that is what we expect from you.
No, absolutely. And this is definitely in my plan. Definitely.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Amal sir.
Amolji, thank you. Sorry, I came back and
Unmute, Amol, unmute.
Dr.
Unmute.
Amal.
Amol sir, you're muted.
Unmute, Dr. Amol.
Thank you, Tripti, for that enlightening knowledge. Very well you described. God bless you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for the appreciation.
Thank you. At least we are motivating President-elect 2025. Take interest in this topic. So
Yeah.
environment chapter will go ahead.
Dr. Amal, I think he's on another call.
With whom he is talking?
I don't know, ma'am.
So let me wish you all bye from my side, and we'll meet in the Pedicon, and much more to do.
I have
before
also
this
gone
one.
to that other this thing.
Yeah, I don't.
Dr. Amol, when is South Zone?
Yeah, this I also was called by Dr. Satish Sharma sir for that North Zone Pedicon Idol. So I went there for 2 minutes. So I think after 2 days it is happening. On 18th or 19th it is there like that. Singaraveli sir was just telling me South Zone Pedicon Idol.
No one knew properly anything because when I asked.
Is Neelam madam is there?
She left. She left. She told
She
her.
left.
Yeah.
She left or she just left this video of she just.
No, she left.
She left.
Okay. Actually, I was to request her because next year action plan is ready of Dr. Vasant Kalatkar sir. So next to next, uh, her action plan will come, and we can request her to arrange a work, arrange a TOT, arrange
She's
a
already
separate module.
promised.
And
She's
she promised.
she promised she will do it.
Okay, then if she has promised, then she will immediately bring academic partner, and then whole workshops we can
Yes,
we can,
Narmada, we are very hopeful.
yes.
So
I will also
Satish Agarwal, sir, we should hope for the
Ravi
best.
sir will,
Sure, sure,
yeah,
ma'am, sure,
because
sure. With all eminent people around and all the people around and a person like Dr. Amol around, definitely it will work out.
It will work out, sir.
I may not
Because
be in
we need
her
on the arm,
team.
ma'am. When the international problems are occurring, it is being discussed at international level. So probably we are lagging behind. Otherwise, it's a burning problem at international level.
Correct, sir. I think everywhere. Narmada, you are too good. You have
Thank
put
you, ma'am.
forward the question so well. I don't think our viewers or participants were
Yes, no,
not bored, and we kept it
no, it was very
as
good.
alert. Maybe we have kept them waiting for their dinner.
You all have put the very practical inputs, and many of them were attentive, and the this webinar will have again the viewership after the this post session link is posted in various groups. They will again watch this in their leisure time. So it was very useful from means
Is this
it was very
Maharashtra's first Maharashtra IP last session of this year?
This is the last session. Amol sir,
Wednesday wisdom is
Yes.
there. Wednesday wisdom is there on
Oh
25th.
God.
So
How
this is not
enthusiastic in December also going on. This may be the state who is doing so much, and till that 31st December you will continue to have.
we may plan on 31st December also. That is not final yet. But right now, 25th December is
New Year Eve anything celebrations or you are fixing some academic program?
celebration will be at this thing, National Pedicon State Annual Award, Central
So
IP
you are
Annual Award.
declared yourself award also.
so we are going to get first.
We are confident that we will
Yeah.
be first.
We are the winners.
You are the winners. Okay. Definitely.
Consecutively 3 times will be winners. Right
After
now,
3 times, the award should not be given.
after this, they should call directly. They should appoint us directly as a central IP OBs.
Nice suggestion.
Good suggestion, no? Sir, Satish Agarwal, sir, now time for us to meet in Hyderabad Pedicon.
Sure,
Yes.
sure. And thanks to all fellow.
Adults, sir, ma'am, this adults on there is one TOT on adolescent health. So, ma'am is taking the lead. Hima Bindu ma'am is taking the lead, and like that Vasant sir was telling, and name is not yet decided. It will be on mental health. That will be the self-sustained, and one national TOT is there along with 10 workshops in Tier 1 cities. This is the plan at present. If any academic partner
You have got
comes,
an academic partner already. We have fixed the academic partner.
but they have not committed like that, sir was telling.
Let us see. We are looking forward, may not be in Pedicon. After the Pedicon also it can happen.
Congratulations.
Yes.
No, sir, still it is not. When it comes out, then only.
And then you are in the that pink footsteps.
Yes.
One national TOT plus 20 workshops.
20 workshops, sir?
20 workshops. Okay, thank you once again. Anything to discuss at present?
No, sir. Thank you very much. I think.
So thank you, Narmada ma'am, Tripti, Satish sir. Bala sir just went because his birthday is there and he has to attend some function or something like that, he was telling. So thank you, Gita Patil madam and all.
No, birthday function. I have to go early morning tomorrow.
Okay.
4:30. That's fine.
Thank you for coming back again. So once again, we all wish you a very, very happy birthday.
I was just packing everything. That's all. Okay.
Okay.
Bye. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
We'll meet in Hyderabad.
We'll have a treat from Bala sir at Pedicon, Hyderabad.
Well, sure.
Mm.
We have one TOT is there. TOT on One Health.
One Health, yes.
Thank you, Maha IAP, for the opportunity, sir.
One
And thank you
Health.
for taking it in the video forum.
Yes.
Norman, we thank you only.
Thanks. My pleasure, sir.
And the main person is Dr. Amol sir,
No,
PACE coordinator.
Tripti.
The
Yeah,
Tripti
yeah,
ma'am,
webinar.
Tripti ma'am
For this
is-
Really
webinar,
took it. I'm
Tripti.
very happy Tripti took it. That's I'm persisted that we do it. Thank you so much.
Yes.
And
Tripti
everyone,
is so
everyone,
skillful, na? She's so skillful that she just rings up and she asks you whether it will be possible. It's kind of order. Can putting my word to you and you have to go there. So nobody can say no to her.
Yes.
That's the
Thank you
skill of
so
Dr.
much.
Tripti ma'am.
Thanks
it's
a
a
lot.
pleasure. Everyone agreed readily, and we are able to conduct it. It's an important topic. I felt during Adloscon, Madam has pointed out that it was in the end, and the delegates could not take opportunity to enlighten about the
We
topic.
couldn't discuss in length because we were in a hurry. They wanted to
Yeah.
close it up and all that.